33 students and 3 of their teachers, many of whom have been shot, were trapped in a room with an active shooter for over an hour as law enforcement officials remained outside. The victims and survivors of the mass shooting at Robb Elementary on May 24th, 2022 deserve better.
I hope that the failures end today and that local officials do what wasn't done that day, do right by the victims and survivors of Robb Elementary.
More than a year after the Uvalde school shooting shocked the nation, the federal government releases a 600-page report showing what led to the bungled response to a massacre that killed 21 people. Hello, I'm Ellison Barber in for Gadi, Schwartz, and this is Stay Tuned Now. We begin with that bombshell report from the Department of Justice outlining the many failures in the response to the Uvalde mass school shooting. In 2022, an 18-year-old opened fire at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, murdering 21 people, 2 staffers and 19 students, kids who were just 9, 10, and 11-year-olds. The DOJ's 600-page report details law enforcement's cascading failures that day. Attorney General Merrick Garland told reporters that if the responding law enforcement agencies had followed what he called generally accepted practices in active shooter situations, then lives would have been saved. Instead, he said officers acted with, quote, no urgency and failed in every sense of the word when they did not enter 2 adjoining classrooms where the shooter was for 77 minutes. Some families even received incorrect information about whether their loved ones were alive or dead. For more, let's bring in NBC News correspondent Ryan Riley.
A scathing new report from the Justice Department found profound failures by law enforcement officials in their response to the 2022 mass killing at a school in Uvalde, Texas. The investigation, led by the COPS office within the Justice Department, found that children's lives may have been saved if officers had followed proper protocols. For 77 minutes, law enforcement failed to engage and eliminate the shooter, which had been the approach that law enforcement officials had been encouraged to pursue since the Columbine shooting 24 years ago. The Justice Department report found that there were 10 stimulus events over the span of more than an hour that could have driven law enforcement officers to take steps under active shooting protocols to immediately stop the killing. The report said that for over an hour, no one assumed a leadership role to direct the response toward the active shooter, provide situational status to responding officers, establish some form of incident command, and clearly assume and communicate the role of incident commanders, close quote. The Justice Department investigation is different from most of the probes run by federal law enforcement in that it was not aimed at finding criminal charges. Instead, the Justice Department's hope is that the report has a nationwide impact and that law enforcement entities across the country step up and make sure that they are properly prepared and that their personnel know the right approach to active shooter situations if tragedy ever strikes in their community. Families of Uvalde victims would still like to see additional accountability and are awaiting the decisions of law enforcement officials in Texas who are still investigating whether any of the officers were criminally liable for their actions that day. Oscar Ornata, the father of Noah, a student who was injured but survived, said his son has not been the same since May 24th, 2022. He's a different person, and I dare say he's experienced more than most men will ever experience in a lifetime. And he has seen stuff that I wouldn't wish on my worst enemy, his father said. Ellison, back to you.
NBC's Ryan Riley, thank you. Now let's bring in NBC News terrorism analyst Jim Kavanaugh. He's also a retired ATF special agent in charge and hostage negotiator. Jim, thanks for joining us. So let's listen to a little more of what Attorney General Merrick Garland said, because he talked about what he described as the most significant failure in this situation. And he says that it was police making the decision on the scene to treat the shooter as a barricaded subject instead of an active shooter. Let's listen to what he said, and then we'll talk right after.
Every second counts. And the priority of law enforcement must be to immediately enter the room and stop the shooter with whatever weapons and tools officers have with them. But within minutes of arriving inside the school, Officials on scene transitioned from treating the scene as an active shooter situation to treating the shooter as a barricaded subject. This was the most significant failure.
Can you elaborate on that for us? I mean, why would trained law enforcement officials ever look at a situation where you have children inside of a room calling 911, calling their parents, you hear them, and then to treat the shooter inside that same room as a barricaded subject? I mean, was it a poor amount of training? I mean, how and where does that happen? What do you make of it?
Right, Ellison. Well, I think the Attorney General's spot on. I think it is a failure of training. It's a failure of leadership. It's a failure to have officers on scene who have been trained in tactical decision-making and able to read escalating and de-escalating situations. But the first 11 officers in, as the Attorney General said, they had rifles, they had their sidearms, they had more numbers than the killer, and he was actively killing people, and they should have followed him right into the classroom, which we, of course, now know was not even locked. So, just to break it down for you, this is an active killing situation. Students are bleeding out. There's no time. They have to move. They have to press, and engage and stop him. A barricaded subject, technically in police terms, is a person who's alone in a house or a building or an office or a classroom. They're alone. They're barricaded alone, and they don't want law enforcement to arrest them. They want to shoot it out with law enforcement, or they're suicidal. But a barricaded subject, in police jargon, they're alone. Hostage situations are different, where that's where someone is holding people and making demands. You can think of a busted bank robbery. Bank robber goes in, there's a police response outside. Now the bank robber's trapped inside. He never really wanted to kill all the people in the bank. He wanted the money, but now he's stuck, and he's using them as leverage to make his escape. He's demanding a helicopter or something, or to be released, or a vehicle or whatever. So hostage situation is where someone's making demands. They want certain demands met. Can be lots of things, get out their message, do something in whatever situation they're in. Uvalde was none of those, Ellison. It was an active killer. It wasn't making any demands. The killer just wanted to kill all the students. And so you have to read that. You're the police. You have to read that. This is an active killer, and I have to move fast. So it's a tremendous failure.
Jim, I want to play a little bit of what we heard from one of the mothers of a victim here, speaking earlier with MSNBC. Listen.
Accountability for me is each of these agencies or municipalities looking at this review, realizing that there were failures, that officers did not follow protocol, and taking the appropriate actions to terminate them. I think the more and more reports that come out make it clear that the answers I most want I'll never receive. I want to know what happened in her final moments. I want to know if it was fast or if she waited and was scared. Those aren't answers I'll ever receive.
Jim, we've seen the state of Texas produce a report of their own about what went wrong in Uvalde. Now this from the federal government. Talk to us about accountability, what it might look like here. This report, it does not recommend any criminal charges, but could law enforcement who were on site that day, particularly in those first 70 minutes or so, could they face any sort of criminal charges as a result of this report and additional findings?
Well, they could, Ellison. I mean, Texas has statutes that protect children. Failure to protect a child could be used by the district attorney there. Police officers can be charged with malfeasance in office in most states, failure to perform their duties. There are charges like that could be levied probably. Texas may have some similar statutes. They could be terminated by their chiefs or sheriffs. But what we're talking about here is we've got chiefs and the sheriff involved. The report even faults the sheriff for not making the command decisions when he's on the scene, not even gathering with the other commanders. I mean, this is fundamental, basic police tactics. I mean, I was an on-scene commander, a negotiator, involved in barricaded subjects and, shootouts and these kind of things. We had a process in ATF. The FBI has a process. state police, most cities. You learn this tactical decision making. You know how to operate. You show up, you meet with the other commanders, you make decisions. We have the school chief here. He drops his radio and he runs to the very front of the action like he's a private in the Army. He can't be making the decisions when he's, standing in front of the door with no communication. So he abdicated his responsibility as the leader, as the on-scene commander. And nobody picked up the mantra for 77 minutes while children were bleeding. So the on-scene commander has to read the situation constantly and know what time is. Time is neutral when you're the on-scene commander. And sometimes it's for you and sometimes it's against you. Here it was very much against them because of the act of killing and the children bleeding out. And they had to move very, very quickly, and they failed to do it.
Jim Kavanaugh, thank you so much for joining us and explaining all of that. We appreciate it. At least 66 million people are under winter weather alerts tonight as another Arctic blast makes its way across the country. NBC News has confirmed more than 40 deaths due to the cold weather so far, the majority of those reported in Tennessee and Oregon. Multnomah County in Oregon says they've reached an all-time high for cold-related hospitalizations. Right now, a lake-effect storm is dumping snow on Buffalo, as much as 10 inches today, burying entire communities. Another 4 inches is expected to fall tomorrow. The snow, high winds, and frozen ice continue to cause dangerous conditions across the country. And in a lot of places, there's simply not enough time for things to clear out because another storm is already on the way. We have a team tracking the dangerous weather conditions. Meteorologist Michelle Grossman is standing by in studio. We have Steve Patterson on the latest in hard-hit Oregon. But first, let's go to Emily Ikeda, who is just south of Buffalo in Hamburg, New York. Emily, talk to us about what you were seeing on the ground there in Buffalo. And in terms of this death toll, the numbers that we're hearing from across the country, it seems so high. What is it about these storms that's making them so dangerous?
Hey there, Ellison. Well, you think about it, and it has just been a barrage of bad weather coast to coast. We're talking about numerous storms, numerous rounds of lake effect snow, freezing rain that happened in the Pacific Northwest, and now it's trudging across the country. And we continue to watch that death toll rise. At least 47 people across the country have died in the past week because of this severe weather. In Tennessee, at least 14 people died. There are really treacherous driving conditions as that area has been hammered again by freezing rain and snow today. Here in the greater Buffalo area, at least 3 people have died, and officials here are really urging people to exercise caution when they're outside and trying to clear this immense amount of snow, not to overexert themselves because it can be dangerous, especially if you have a pre-existing heart condition. This is an area that has seen snow for 2 weeks in a row, at least parts of Buffalo. Since Saturday, parts of Buffalo have seen more than 60 inches of snow. Ellison, that is almost as tall as I am.
Yeah, wow. 2 weeks in a row of snow like this. And Emily, that area, they're not out of the woods yet, right?
Yeah, it's kind of hard to imagine that even more snow could be falling on western New York. It might be a foot or even more in parts of the region. And just talking to people as they are walking throughout these neighborhoods, this is heavy snow. They are having to come out every day and shovel for numerous hours, and it still is falling. You can still see the flakes, and they'll get more through the weekend. Now, you think about last year. You may recall last winter's deadly blizzard in the Buffalo area that resulted in dozens of people's deaths. So officials are taking a different approach heading into this season. They've pre-positioned more trucks, more equipment, hundreds of snow plows working around the clock. Here's more from residents as they try to clean up as more snow's about to fall. Take a listen.
I'm spending anywhere from 4 to 5 hours a day out here plowing and shoveling, and of course, we have a great sense of community here, so we all spend a lot of time, helping neighbors out.
In terms of flight disruptions across the country, we've actually seen a slight improvement today compared to yesterday. Some 4,000 flights delayed, roughly 700 flights canceled today. But with more snow heading for the Northeast, we could see those numbers rise. One other thing I'll just add real quickly, Ellison, is just earlier today, a plane actually skidded off the taxiway in nearby Rochester Airport. American Airlines says that was because of a snowy airfield conditions. They are grateful that all 53 people on board were not injured. Ellison.
Scary moment. NBC News correspondent Emily Aketa in Hamburg, New York. Thank you. In the Pacific Northwest, 2024 is off to an icy start, with freezing rain leaving layers of ice on roads, trees, and power lines. As you are about to see, it has been downright dangerous.
Icy conditions around the area have dominated our newscast this week, and that story continues today with more freezing rain falling in some spots.
Snow, it's not that big a deal, but ice is the worst thing, because once it's here, it's here.
The sweeping ice coming across these pellets the size of maybe a small ball of some sort.
The freezing rain is up here where the winds are blowing out of the gorge.
We do have snow tires. However, that does not eliminate the fact that we are still nervous.
Right in the road.
Yeah, don't.
Right in the road.
Careful.
That power line.
Oh, man. I was just standing over there.
NBC News correspondent Steve Patterson joins me now from our West Coast bureau, where he's tracking all of these developments. Steve, falling trees, they are no joke. That has been very clear in this weather impacting the Northwest, right? What are you seeing?
No joke, and in fact, it's deathly serious. By our count, 14 deaths in the Pacific Northwest alone. Of that 14, 9 in Oregon alone. Of that 9, 5 related to falling trees or toppled over power poles or power lines. And specifically, we've seen this one heartbreaking incident where 3 people died when a tree toppled over a fallen charged line on top of a car. The people got out of the car and they were all electrocuted, including a 19-year-old, a 21-year-old, a 9-month-old baby separately also taken to the hospital in that incident. Thankfully, that baby was checked out and cleared and is okay. But we're seeing all of these instances in a region in which is not used to this level of stress from this amount of snow. And it's showing on their infrastructure, as well as what the warning is from people from the organizations that are tracking this, which is to, if you can, stay inside. And if you have to go out, be extremely, extremely careful at this point, because that stuff is dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, Steve, when we're talking about travel conditions tonight and in the coming days, what are officials wanting people in that area to know?
Yeah, 2 words, unfortunately, which is freezing rain. And that has been sort of the plague that this region has been under for the past few days. It is just sort of slightly not cold enough for snow, but not warm enough for the whole area to sort of dissipate this stuff. And so they've been talking about this big thaw, which was supposed to be here by today, with temperatures upwards of 30s and 40s and somewhere in the 44-degree area. That really didn't happen in places where it is really bad. It did happen in other parts. There is something of a thaw, but in that sort of metro Portland, central Oregon specifically area, it is still around freezing. And so the conditions are more freezing rain, which means more danger on the road. It's also supposed to be windy again tonight. So until about Friday afternoon or so, you have to contend with jackknife cars, which we've already seen happen again tonight, and down power poles and power lines and all the dangerous stuff that we just showed you. It's back on the menu until at least this weekend. Allison?
Steve Patterson, thank you. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's bring in NBC News meteorologist Michelle Grossman. So, Michelle, yet another storm. What should people expect?
Well, we're going to expect more snow. We're looking at 1 to 4 inches. This is in the Northeast, but this is a cross-country thing. You can see 100 million people. That number has jumped since even just 2 hours ago, from the west through the Central Plains all the way to the Midwest, the South Central states into the Mid-Atlantic. And we're looking at a slow commute throughout the Northeast tomorrow. 30 states impacted as we look across the country. We're talking about ice. We're talking about flooding rains in some spots, and we're looking at snow. In addition to that, we're looking at another Arctic blast. So the cold, really dangerous, life-threatening in some situations. 29 million people impacted throughout the northern tier of the nation, Central Plains into portions of the Mississippi Valley, the Tennessee Valley. We're going to see temperatures well below normal once again. This is what radar looks like right now. You can see that storm off to the northwest. We're looking at flooding rains. That's where you see the green. You see that pink and that purple. Emily talked about this earlier, and also Steve. We had some power outages inches. We're going to see that. We're looking at temperatures in the 30s, temperatures not back into the 40s by the weekend. And we're going to add on a 1/4 inch of ice in some spots. That's going to cause more power outages. The blue is snow. That's going to be measured in feet. We're looking at snow throughout portions of the Midwest, the Central Plains. And then here's another storm. These two are going to join forces, and they're going to bring snow into portions of the Mid-Atlantic. You can see a little blue in portions of the Mid-Atlantic right now. This is not reaching the ground quite yet, but it will in the overnight hours, and that's going to make for a messy morning commute in portions of the Northeast. So this is a setup tonight. We're seeing that snow spreading from the Rockies into portions of the Midwest, and then by tomorrow, that slippery commute, light to moderate snow reaching the Mid-Atlantic. It's going to be a lot like Monday's storm. We don't need a lot of snow to slow us down in portions of the Mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, New England, and we could see some spots in the Philadelphia suburbs reaching 4, even 5, 6 inches. So a lot of those school closings are coming in right now. As far as the snowfall forecast, mentioned the 4 to 6 in some spots. Generally, it's going to be 1 to 4. But the higher mountains of West Virginia seeing some higher amounts as well. That's where you're seeing those pinks and purples. This is another dangerous story. Bitter cold once again. We had a little reprieve in portions of the southern plains. Not tomorrow. We're going to see those temperatures dipping once again. It's really the wind chill, too. You factor in the winds. That's what it feels like on your body. That's what your body perceives as the air temperature. So you need to dress for the wind chill. Dress for 26 degrees in Dallas tomorrow. Dressing for 16 in Tulsa. And look at Omaha. Feeling like -12. Chicago still feeling like -5. We've been watching Adrian, one of our reporters there all week, and it is just terrible there.
What is driving all of this right now? I mean, it's January, so in some places, of course, you expect snow and cold. But looking at every single map, it's like everywhere is impacted, and for such a long time again and again. What's driving this?
Yeah, and it's even down to the south central states. So we have a jet stream. I kind of think of it in terms of food. I think of everything in terms of food, but it's like a conveyor belt across in the grocery store. So what's happening, it's dipping, and we're letting all this cold air come down, and it's reaching as far as the south. And with global warming, climate change, things are not moving. We have a traffic jam in the atmosphere, and that's sort of what's happening. Things aren't moving, that's dipping, and it's just bringing that Arctic air down from Canada, kind of allowing that door open from Canada.
All right, Michelle Grossman, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Don't go anywhere because we are just getting started here. 2 decades ago, Scott Peterson was convicted of killing his pregnant wife, but now the Innocence Project is taking up his case. Plus, Arnold Schwarzenegger detained in Germany. We will tell you what he brought into the country that got him in some hot water. And a successful liftoff. 4 astronauts were launched into space today. We have more on their mission at the International Space Station. So stay tuned.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Engine full power. And liftoff. So
Welcome back. Here are some of the other headlines we're watching tonight. A judge in Washington state has ruled Donald Trump can stay on the presidential primary ballot there. It's in response to a challenge of Trump's ability to appear on the ballot in that state. In both Colorado and Maine, similar efforts to remove Trump from the ballot have been decided by the state's Supreme Court and also election officials. But the U.S. Supreme Court has agreed to hear Trump's appeal of the Colorado ruling in February. That case will likely determine if other challenges can move ahead. Congress today approving funding to prevent a partial government shutdown. The bill passed both the Senate and House, keeping federal funds flowing through early March. It now goes to President Biden's desk before the funds expire Friday night. One person was hurt today in an explosion in Washington, D.C. The fire department there responded to a gas leak, evacuating nearby buildings, including a daycare that had 16 kids inside. Apparently, they got those kids out just minutes before the blast. A man outside was hit with flying debris, but his injuries are said to be minor. Texas is refusing to comply with a cease and desist letter from the White House. The state blocked U.S. Border Patrol from accessing a portion of the border with Mexico. Now the Department of Homeland Security is involved, but officials have refused to comply. The Biden administration has threatened to refer the matter to the DOJ. Demolition of the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh began this week. The building has been vacant since 2018, when 11 worshipers were killed in a hate-motivated attack. The synagogue will be rebuilt with a new design, including the nation's first museum that focuses on anti-Semitism. Turning now to the battle in Washington over immigration policy. For months, some Republican lawmakers have been threatening to vote against President Biden's $106 billion aid package that includes money for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, unless it includes more funding for U.S. border security. Now, Senate Republicans say they are close to reaching a compromise with the White House, but hard-right conservatives in the House, they are threatening to kill any deal that could unlock additional aid for Ukraine. As negotiations continue, Senate Republicans are warning those lawmakers not to play political games. They say they won't get a better deal under a theoretical Trump presidency. NBC News entrance polls showed immigration was a top issue for voters in Iowa. Now, Republican presidential candidates are trying to convince voters in New Hampshire why they are best equipped to secure the southern border. NBC News' Garrett Hake has more.
Like me.
Tonight, facing a make-or-break New Hampshire primary in just 5 days, Nikki Haley ramping up her attacks on the frontrunner.
Now, I know that Donald Trump went on a temper tantrum about me last night.
Defending her record on the hot-button issue of immigration.
I said, I don't just want a border wall. We've got to do a whole lot more than that. We will defund sanctuary cities once and for all. No more safe havens for illegal immigrants.
The former South Carolina governor under relentless assault by the Trump campaign on the stump.
Nikki Haley will never secure the border. She doesn't believe in these secure borders.
And over the airwaves.
Nikki Haley, too weak, too liberal to fix the border.
For the frontrunner, former President Trump, border security remains the signature issue.
On day one of my new administration, I will seal the border. We had the safest border in history. We're going to make it the safest border in history again.
Under President Biden's current border policies, roughly 85% of migrants who cross the border are released into the U.S. pending court dates. Mr. Trump is vowing to force asylum seekers to remain in Mexico and wants to complete a southern border wall. President Biden has called Trump proposals extreme. The former president overnight urging House Republicans negotiating with the White House not to accept any compromise deal short of perfect, as Congress debates linking aid to Israel and Ukraine to border security. President Biden pushing back.
I think the vast majority of members of Congress support aid to Ukraine. The question is whether or not a small minority are going to hold it up, which could be a disaster.
And tweaking Mr. Trump over the low turnout in Iowa in his landslide victory.
Well, I don't think Iowa means anything. Lowest number of votes anybody's won got.
And then there's Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who campaigns here tomorrow before heading to South Carolina, which doesn't hold its primary for more than a month, and where polls show Mr. Trump also has a lead.
Garrett Hake in Manchester, New Hampshire for us. Thank you. Hunter Biden has agreed to sit for a deposition in front of the House Oversight and Judiciary Committee next month. This is a decision that has, in a lot of ways, been in the works for weeks. You'll remember the younger Biden's team and House Republicans going back and forth about it. Hunter Biden making a surprise appearance on the Hill. Apparently, Hunter Biden will provide a testimony for the Republicans' impeachment inquiry into his father, President Joe Biden, and that date is set for February 28th. His lawyers are telling NBC News that the younger Biden always wanted to provide the committee with facts, but had concerns about the way Republicans wanted to conduct his deposition. Okay, coming up, do you take daily vitamins? Well, there are now some new studies that might make you want to. Those details are coming up, but first, you gotta see this. Calling all ranch lovers? Are you looking for a new addition to your favorite wings and ranch combo for Super Bowl Sunday? Well, get ready to pucker up. Burt's Bees and Hidden Valley Ranch just joined forces to put out lip balms inspired by well-loved wing flavors. It could be the thing you didn't know you needed in your life, but soon you will be able to get a hint of your favorite dipping sauce on your lips all day. Other flavors, they include buffalo sauce, crunchy celery, and fresh carrot. If you're looking to try them out, you will have to wait a little bit because the lip balms, which were $11.99 online, are already sold out. Hopefully we all have some wings here, I guess. We will be back right after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. Let's take a quick look around the world. The Terminator was detained for 2.5 hours at an airport in Germany and now faces formal criminal tax charges. We're talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger, the movie star / former governor of California. He was on his way to Austria when customs officers reportedly noticed a luxury watch that had not been declared. In the EU, anyone arriving with cash or valuables worth more than 10,000 euros must declare it. A source close to Schwarzenegger tells NBC News the watch was a prize for a charity auction. They claim he'd agreed to prepay possible taxes on the watch, but then couldn't find a working ATM. And then when he did find one, the withdrawal limit was too low. But now that is something he will have to explain to the court. A massive explosion in Nigeria killed at least 3 people and injured roughly 80 more. Witnesses say the blast rattled more than a dozen buildings yesterday, reducing some to rubble. Nigerian officials believe illegal mining operations are to blame, and someone was storing a bunch of explosives. So far, no arrests have been made. Another tragic explosion to tell you about, this one at a fireworks factory in Thailand. It's killed at least 20 people. What is still unknown right now is what caused this blast. It happened yesterday, but what we do know, according to Thai authorities, is that this is the second explosion at that same factory. The first one happened in November of 2022. That one killed 1 person and injured 3 others. And UK lawmakers have passed a bill to send migrants to Rwanda, but it's not a done deal just yet. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak got the go-ahead for his plan through the House of Commons yesterday. Under the plan, some asylum seekers would be sent on a one-way trip to Rwanda, but it still needs to clear Parliament's upper chamber before the first flight actually takes off. Tonight, tension amongst allies. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says he opposes the establishment of a Palestinian state after the war with Gaza ends. The U.S., however, is firm in its belief that a 2-state solution is the only way the conflict can end.
את האמת הזאת אני אומר לידידינו האמריקנים, ואני גם בלמתי את הניסיון לכפות עלינו מציאות שתפגע בביטחון ישראל. ראש ממשלה בישראל צריך להיות מסוגל להגיד לא גם לטובי הידידים שלנו, להגיד לא כשצריך ולהגיד כן שאפשר.
The Israeli Prime Minister's comments struck a chord with some lawmakers on the Hill. Democratic Senator Chris Murphy warned that it could even complicate an upcoming aid package to Israel. Meanwhile, fighting in the Red Sea is intensifying. The U.S. just conducted another strike on Houthi targets in Yemen. It is the second one in just 24 hours. NBC News' chief international correspondent, Keir Simmons, has more.
Tonight, for the 5th time in just a week, the U.S. again striking Houthi targets inside Yemen, this time with F-18s. U.S. CENTCOM says the strikes were on 2 anti-ship missiles aimed into the southern Red Sea. After determining an imminent threat to commercial and U.S. Navy ships, the Pentagon says, the Houthi missiles were destroyed. But the Houthis are still terrorizing ships in the Red Sea, despite the U.S. retaliation. Pressed by NBC's Gabe Gutierrez, President Biden acknowledged U.S. actions were not deterring the Iranian-backed militia.
Are the airstrikes in Yemen working? Well, when you say working, are they stopping the Houthis? No. Are they going to continue? Yes.
Saudi Arabia's foreign minister met face-to-face with his Iranian counterpart this week.
So our message to everyone, including our neighbors in Iran, is that we need to work together towards de-escalation.
And in an interview with NBC News, another stunning shift, openly discussing a possible deal to normalize relations with Israel and a U.S. strategic partnership. But there can be no deal, he says, without a ceasefire and a 2-state solution.
But what we feel is key at this time is to find a credible, irreversible path to a Palestinian state.
With Hamas vowing more terror attacks, Israel's president today saying no one is thinking about the peace process.
Every Israeli wants to know that he will not be attacked in the same way from north or south or east.
Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu outright dismissing a Palestinian state.
So doesn't that make a deal with Saudi Arabia impossible?
Again, I cannot speak to what decisions the Israeli government will make.
America's support for a Palestinian state and Netanyahu's rejection of it now risking a rift. You need to be able to say no, Netanyahu said today, even to your best friends.
Keir Simmons, thank you. The White House has met with the families of Americans taken hostage by Hamas, specifically with National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. Today's meeting comes as U.S., Israeli, and Arab officials confirm that a new deal to release hostages might be taking shape. But they also caution that nothing is set in stone just yet. NBC News White House correspondent Kelly O'Donnell has this report.
Good evening, Ellison.
For the families of Americans held by Hamas, every day is another day of this war where they don't know the fate of their loved ones. Taken October 7th in the war that is now between Israel and Hamas, American citizens are among those who have been held for this whole time. Some have been released, but those families that are still waiting for that good news had an opportunity to meet today at the White House with the president's national security advisor. They've had meetings before. This was another important opportunity to make their case that the U.S. government and allies like Israel need to do more to bring them home. Separately, there are ongoing negotiations that NBC News has learned about that could consider different kinds of scenarios between Israel, Hamas, and some Arab countries working together for a pause in the fighting to allow for a scheduled release of some hostages. The discussions are underway. No breakthrough yet, but the fact that they're talking about it is certainly hopeful for families who want so very much to have answers and good news. Ellison?
Kelly O'Donnell at the White House, thank you. Still to come, taking your daily vitamins might be a whole lot more important than you thought. What a new study is revealing about slowing down cognitive aging and preventing memory loss. Those details are next, so stay tuned. Welcome back. Here are some stories happening out west that we're following. Security cameras captured a terrifying home invasion in Sacramento. It happened earlier this month. Two armed robbers kicked in Marlon Harris's front door. The robbers held Harris, a 67-year-old Marine veteran who requires oxygen, at gunpoint, then broke into his safe, taking his life savings and sentimental jewelry. No one has been arrested, but police say an investigation is still ongoing. An argument near the Las Vegas Strip has led to a deadly shooting. It happened last night. 2 people were killed while 2 others were injured. Police say they don't know what the argument was about. So far, no arrests have been made. And a federal judge has ordered the release of a second round of racist and homophobic texts from a former San Jose police officer. The text revealed the disrespect for Black, Asian, and gay people, as well as women and those who are mentally disabled. The former San Jose police officer is Mark McNamara. And last week, a court filing revealed he deleted his social media accounts one day after the police chief made the first batch of his racist and offensive texts public. We have more breaking news for you this hour, this time related to the case of Scott Peterson. You'll remember Peterson was convicted of killing his wife back in 2004 and sentenced to death a year later. Scott Peterson will now have his case taken up by the Los Angeles Innocence Project. The group says they want to get new evidence from Peterson's original trial where he pleaded not guilty. His legal team has always said he is innocent. His lawyers tried to get him a new trial in 2022, but a judge denied it. NBC News correspondent Liz Kreutz is with us now. She's following the developments of this from our L.A. bureau. So, Liz, break this down for us, because this was a huge case that got international headlines. Almost everyone has probably seen some sort of documentary related to this. Is the Innocence Project saying they have new evidence? What is the aim here?
Yeah. Hey, Ellison, it is really stunning here for this case that we've all been following for 2 decades now. We've been poring over the documents tonight that the Innocence Project has filed, and they do flat out say that they believe that they have discovered new evidence that could prove he is innocent, which is pretty stunning here. They're pointing to a few things that they want to be reinvestigated. Number one, they're pointing to a burglary that happened across the street from the Peterson home around the time of the murder. They say that there actually may have been more burglars involved with this burglary than previously known. They want that looked into again. And second, they are pointing to a burnt orange van that was found in the area around the murder. They say that there was a mattress inside this van with blood on it, and they want the DNA from that mattress and from that van released. They say it had been hidden from the defense, and they say that that DNA could be critical and crucial into proving his potential innocence. innocence. Again, Scott Peterson, for 2 decades now, has said he is innocent. His attorney tonight saying, quote, "I will confirm that we are thrilled to have the incredibly skilled attorneys at the LA Innocence Project and their expertise becoming involved in the efforts to prove Scott's innocence." And the Innocence Project also released a statement confirming that they are now representing Peterson. Allison.
Remind us, if you can, Liz, sort of how we got to this point. I think a lot of people probably remember fragments of this case. He's always said that he was innocent, but his family, a former mistress at the time, they'd all expressed sort of the opposite opinion, right, in various instances as this case progressed. But were there always these kind of outstanding questions or, I guess, mysterious circumstances surrounding this case? Or is this just a total shock that the Innocence Project says they found something different?
I mean, Peterson has maintained his innocence for 2 decades here. He's always said he was. But there are a lot of people that very much feel the case is closed. And honestly, some of the reaction online to people learning that the Innocence Project has taken on this case, it's pretty unusual for them, I think, to take on a case like this, has been pretty shocking to a lot of people. A lot of people saying, really, of all the people that the Innocence Project could take on, they're taking on Scott Peterson? Because, again, there's many people who really do believe that the evidence is very clear that he is guilty. This goes back to 2002. That is when Lacey Peterson, his wife, who was pregnant at the time, disappeared on Christmas Eve. Back in 2004 is when he was found guilty and sentenced to death. It was in 2020, though, that he was taken off death row. He's now been serving life in prison. And then it was later in 2020 that the Supreme Court of the state dismissed an attempt by Peterson to get his case retried. He had said that there had been jury misconduct. So there have been a lot of twists and turns in this trial over the past 20 years. But again, many people did believe this case is closed. So it is a shock to many that now the Innocence Project is taking this on and so bluntly saying that they've discovered new evidence. So it's a big development here, Allison.
Yeah, a really stunning turn in this case. Liz Kreutz, thank you so much for explaining all of this to us and joining us last minute. Thank you. We appreciate it. Now to some breakthrough research on multivitamins. Millions of us take them every day, and now there is new evidence that they can have a real impact on our memories. NBC's Stephanie Gosk explains.
A healthy diet is good for the body and also good for the mind. And multivitamins could play an important role.
It's biologically plausible because we know that nutrition is so important for optimal brain health.
A new study directed by Mass General Brigham found that participants taking multivitamins daily prevented memory loss and slowed down the process of cognitive aging by the equivalent of 2 years compared to a placebo group.
We found the strongest benefit for memory in slowing of age-related memory loss.
1 in 9 adults say they have experienced confusion or memory loss, according to the CDC. By 2060, the number of people age 65 and older with Alzheimer's is projected to reach nearly 14 million.
When we talk about Alzheimer's disease and other related dementia, that's not normal aging, and those diseases are fatal. It's really important that we think about strategies for prevention. We think about strategies such as engaging in healthy lifestyles to keep our brain as healthy as we can, as long as we can.
The researchers who conducted the multivitamin study are encouraged by the findings because it is a cheap and easily accessible option for most people. But they caution that the supplements are not a substitute for good nutrition.
But people should still eat their spinach.
Absolutely. We are saying that multivitamins, dietary supplements will never be a substitute for a healthy diet, healthy lifestyle, regular physical activity, and everything like that. That is really key.
The best time to take action, doctors say, is before cognitive decline begins.
In California's prison system, a groundbreaking model is investing in inmates' futures. From targeted job training to counseling, the focus is on reintegration, not retribution. NBC News correspondent Steve Patterson has this amazing story.
A groundbreaking experiment happening at 2 prisons in California, dubbed Prisneyland for the comparatively luxurious facilities and programs provided to the incarcerated individuals here.
Now I can do hair. I didn't even know I could do hair.
Officials tell us it's all modeled after Norway's successful reforms, with the goal to bring down sky-high recidivism rates. And authorities say violence is already lower at these facilities, 1 men's and 1 women's, since starting the rehabilitative programs a few years ago. But to cut reoffending rates, those being paroled not only need coping skills, they need job skills. Initial studies by the University of California, Irvine suggest that even just signing up for job training, let alone completing it, significantly cuts reoffending rates. Central California Women's Facility, there's training for a wide range of trades and vocations, from a dental lab to a carpentry shop.
I checked the prescription right here with the lensometer.
To a state-of-the-art optical lab where women like Linda learn how to be opticians.
Been in prison for a little while.
How long?
22 years.
22 years?
Yes. So,
how old were you when you came in?
I was 21 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, so now I'm 42.
Are you going to get out anytime soon?
Yeah.
You are?
Yeah, I'm anticipating a board hearing and release in the next couple of years, and I fully anticipate taking full advantage of this.
So are you going to take these skills out there? Like, how does this translate into a real-world job for you?
Well, we just started an apprentice program.
Okay.
So upon completion of that, I'll be a licensed optician. So with that, I'll be able to obtain employment, LensCrafter, or Walmart. I mean, I've done my homework and done little budgeting plans.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'll be at livable wage. I mean, stepping out of prison after that long time, I'll be able to make a nice livable wage and, just use this as a stepping stone and continue on.
One of the most successful job programs here is the service dog training. The program says it's enrolled 90 inmates, and more than 40 have been paroled, like Amy Davis.
What's your story? How did you get in? How long were you in? And then
I was involved in a robbery gone wrong, and I was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole, and I served 17 years total.
Well, I want you to just turn around, and say, like, all these women look up to you, right?
Davis has been out of prison for a year. She's now an operations manager for the program that she says saved her life and an inspiration for the women who are still incarcerated here.
What's it like to be in here wearing a purple shirt and not a blue shirt?
I feel that when you have people that look up to you, it's a responsibility. And I have to continue to be successful and become a better person. Just because I paroled doesn't mean I'm not working on myself. And so I want them to be where I'm standing, because I believe that everybody deserves another opportunity.
Make it more smoother, get all the impurities out.
Across the road at Valley State Prison, incarcerated men are also offered training in trades.
According to the people here, this is the only men's cosmetology prison program in the state, in the country?
Probably in the country.
Probably in the country.
As far as I'm aware of.
How long you been in, man?
I've been in this class for about 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. 2 years, I trust you.
Yeah.
If you said 6 months, I would have got out the chair,
you're
man.
in good hands.
Okay.
All right, so you want to line up? That's it?
Yeah, that's it, man. What do you think about Valley State and the opportunity it's given you?
For me, it did a lot. Me personally, because it focuses a lot on what they emphasize on, which is rehabilitation.
You feel like you're a better person now than you were before you came in?
I definitely do, yeah. Yeah, so this is where the dogs sheep at.
Okay.
They stay with us?
We met Francisco, who has also learned to train service dogs. He's schooling to be a drug and alcohol counselor, too, both jobs he could pursue outside.
How long have you been in prison?
Going on 14 years and 3 months. So I've been locked up since I was 17.
Wow.
Just days away from getting released.
Do you have it circled?
Go home. November 15th. Go home.
Are you nervous about getting out?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So it's scary sometimes, right? Because, again, I've been here since I was a kid. You know what I mean? So, but nonetheless, it's a blessing, right? And I look forward to it. That day cannot come soon enough.
It's too early to know if this model will work here because the programs at Central California Women's Facility and Valley State Prison only began in 2017. The rest of California's 32 prisons are only now moving to this approach. The state recognizing that, quote, Norway and California are very different, but pointing to success there after reforms in the 1990s for guiding principles. The Norwegian Correctional Office says the percent of people released from their prisons who reoffended within 2 years, only 20%, much lower than here in the U.S. The big question is, can California repeat Norway's success? We came to meet Francisco again on that fateful circled calendar date.
Can I see your ID, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Heading out into the world, hopefully with the tools to take it on.
It feels surreal, and 14 years later as an adult, now I'm going to the outside world, so there's a lot of emotions, but I feel like super glad, super happy. Oh, imagine, it's a shark. I already know when I see my family, man, I'm gonna break down, man. I haven't seen them in forever. I'm not. I love you.
Our thanks to Steve Patterson for that report. Before we go, launching into space, 4 crew members are on their way to the International Space Station. We will show you next, so stay tuned. Welcome back. It is time now for the future of everything. And just a few hours ago, history was made.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Engine full power. And liftoff. So action 3.
After yesterday's scrubbed launch, a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket carrying an all-European crew took off for the International Space Station. Not only is AX-3 the first all-European commercial crew, but it's also the first mission with a Turkish astronaut. A little over 2 hours ago, the spacecraft separated from its second stage, sending a booster back to Earth while the rest of the capsule hurtles through space. The capsule is set to dock at the ISS on Saturday, where they will spend 2 weeks doing a bunch of different experiments. NBC News correspondent Marissa Parra is at the Kennedy Space Center to tell us more about today's launch. Hey, Marissa.
Hey, Ellison, I know they say the third time's the charm, but in this case, it was the second time that is the charm, because this launch was one day after the original launch date. They postponed it by 24 hours because they wanted to give engineers another chance to take a look at what's called the energy modulators. That's a fancy word for the parachute straps. And there's really no room for error, especially when it comes to human crewed missions. This is the first crewed mission of 2024, the first private European crewed mission to the International Space Station. A lot of firsts here, including Turkey's first time sending an astronaut. This is something that we're seeing more increasingly as these private missions make their way to space. This is Axiom and SpaceX together with NASA. And so there's about 30 experiments that are going to be happening across their 14 days in the International Space Station. A couple of interesting ones. I thought that was really interesting. They're looking at tumors, the effects of microgravity on tumors. They're going to be taking a look at cancer prevention and detection in space. And they're also going to be looking, in partnership with Barilla, yes, the pasta company, looking at the effects of microgravity on the way that food tastes. And when you think about the big picture here, Axiom is looking to build a commercial space station. So all of these experiments might seem kind of funny, but really it comes down to trying to take a look at what human life could look like, both living in space, working in space at a commercial space station, for instance. And so these experiments and these launches are all a small part of that big picture mission here.
Marissa Parra, thank you. That does it for us tonight. I'm Ellison Barber. We will see you tomorrow, but until then, stay tuned now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.